This is Jonathan Agger of Fifth Pro Boxing Fans, joined by journalist Dan Rafael. Things have gone a bit quiet with Ben and Garcia. The zone sent a cease and desist to Zuffa, who obviously trying to make that fight. What's your understanding with where that fight starts?
They're slogging through. It's the old saying there. They're making the sausage. They're trying to work things out, I guess. At least publicly, Oscar De La Hoya, who's Ryan's promoter at Golden Boy, is pretty dug in and says, "Look, we want to make this fight, but we have certain rights, and the other side has to acknowledge them and include us in those discussions. You cannot just unilaterally make the fight," and that's why they sent that cease and desist letter. Further, they claim that their agreement says that Ryan's next fight must be on DAZN. And again, that's not to say they can't make a deal for it not to be on DAZN, but everybody has to agree. You got to go through the process. By the way, the same way, I guess, like when Anthony Joshua was not on DAZN in his last fight and fought Jake Paul on Netflix. It is my understanding that there was a payment made to DAZN to allow that to happen. Money talks, as they say. So we shall see what they come up with in terms of this situation with Ryan Garcia and Conor Benn. But by my understanding is they're still trying to work things out. And the thing about it is, this is sometimes you get into a situation where you're trying to make a certain fight and you're really pressed because of the timing. You got to get certain things done. The deadline is coming. The guys got to get in training camp. You want to do a press conference. You want to be able to do all the things you need to do before a fight. They still have time in terms of a Garcia and Conor fight to get it worked out. The fight wouldn't be until mid-September. And so we're still in June here. There's plenty of time for them to get all their stuff worked out and still have a legitimate big time promotion.
Yeah. Just lastly, we were led to believe that Mayweather and Pacquiao were going to rematch later this summer. Again, things have gone quiet on that. I spoke to someone involved with Pacquiao, and he said that things are edging towards that fight, but still nothing really confirmed. What's your understanding?
I mean, just that it's supposed to be September 25th. It's not going to be at the Sphere as they once had thought, that it will probably end up being at a T-Mobile Arena. But I would say to you this, Floyd Mayweather got a lot of other things he's got to worry about right now besides just whether he's going to have a rematch against Manny Pacquiao. Number one, he's got an exhibition match scheduled for June 27th in Greece against a kickboxer. That'll be on DAZN as a pay-per-view, as it turns out. But also, as the news came out just this week, that he is facing 2 felony charges for passing a bad check for $200,000 and faces very serious criminal charges on that situation. So, September is a long way away. He's got to figure out what's going to happen in terms of his freedom, because if he's convicted, he's looking at a lot of years in prison for fraud and the types of things you do when you write a bad check for $200,000 for a watch. Which I would tell you this: if you are in the type of financial trouble that Floyd is very obviously in, it has been well reported in a lot of different places, all the issues he's had. I've reported about our Internal Revenue Service has a tax lien against him for over $7 million related to unpaid taxes for a couple of years. He also has a $1 million judgment against him because of back child support, because he got pregnant a stripper at his now closed strip club, and he owes that woman money, I guess, for child support. There's been a bunch of other civil cases. I think it's at least 4, it might be more, for unpaid bills related to like apartment rentals and jewelry and usage of private jets. And he's got a lot of problems. He's taken advances, I think, on the Pac. It's either the Pacquiao fight he's taken advance money on, or the Mike Tyson exhibition he's taken advance money on. But he has taken advance money to help get himself into a better situation financially. So he's going to have to go through with those fights, presumably, or have to pay back the money. But in the meantime, his lawyer was just in court, dealing with this felony situation. It's one thing to have a civil lawsuit against you where it's all about how much money you might owe somebody or be ordered to pay. It's a whole different matter when now your freedom is in jeopardy because you've allegedly committed a criminal act, which obviously he'd have to be proven guilty in a court of law, which is not necessarily easy. But I don't know anybody that wants to face that type of situation. But in the overarching picture, the fact that Mayweather at age 49 has to feel forced to come out of his retirement, whether it's to have an actual fight against Pacquiao or to continue to do exhibition matches, because he's done a bunch of them in his retirement, strictly because of the money. Normal athletes, even the greatest, do not exit retirement at age 49 after they've made $1.2 billion in gross amount of money for their career just because they missed the sport. He's doing it because he needs the money, and that's what he knows how to do. It's the only thing he really can do that can bring in big bucks. and he's got a lot of problems. And what would and again, I don't know if he's guilty. That we'll let the courts decide that. But if he is guilty, the idea that he would write a check for $200,000 that they claim he knew was going to bounce for a watch when you're already in all that kind of terrible financial trouble in the first place, you really got to figure out what your priorities are. What are you writing a $200,000 check for a watch when you owe so much money? Who needs a $200,000 watch in the first place? But if you can afford it, fine. But if you're broke, that's a bad. Go get a $25 Timex, my man.
Yeah, absolutely. Dan, appreciate your time. I know. Well, you're obviously celebrating your Knicks win. They've got, you mentioned a parade tomorrow, but obviously next week another big event in New York. Ennis Zayas. Quick thoughts on that?
Oh, great matchup! Obviously, a big time fight. Two undefeated fighters. They both have embraced fighting each other. A lot of credit to Xander, who could have definitely taken the easier way out, but was one of the very few guys ever to call out Boots Ennis, who's been looking for a big time fight. You know, they were trying to do the Virgil Ortiz fight that he had agreed to, and then it wasn't that Virgil wouldn't fight him; it's that Virgil ended up in a grievance with his own promoter, so they're in a legal situation of going through that legal process to figure that out. But in the meantime, Boots Ennis is not supposed to sit around and wait to see what happens with Virgil Ortiz. So when Xander's eyes said fight me, he was all happy to do so. So I just love the fact that you've got two prime guys, both guys at championship contender, at the championship level. Boots at welterweight now has moved up and had a fight at junior middleweight. You got Xander, unified champ at 154 pounds, undefeated. I mean, it's a hell of a matchup, and I hope it's a hell of a fight.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I
mean, if you're a boxing fan, like that, when we all talk about like the best aren't fighting the best, well, no, it's not true, because this is that fight. This is two of the best guys fighting each other and doing so, for a lot of stakes and in a great matchup.
Both undefeated as well, so someone's always got to go,
as they say, unless we have a draw.
That's it, Dan. Appreciate it, mate, and all the best. Cheers.
All right, Jonathan. Thank you, sir.